The best personal branding can often be about playing the long game, but every so often there are a few quick wins. Today I want to share my top 15 quick wins that can instantly elevate your personal brand. Grab your cup of tea and let's dive into it. I'm going to start with a few tips in LinkedIn before we move on to other areas of your personal brand. And my first tip is to update your LinkedIn profile photo. LinkedIn is the world's biggest professional networking platform. So it is the place where you are most leaving an impression about your professional brand. So what impression are you leaving with your profile photo? The research shows that first impressions are formed as quickly as within milliseconds. So you want to make sure that you are leaving a positive first impression on potential contacts, with recruiters, or with potential clients. If you want to learn more about how I suggest you update your LinkedIn profile photo, then check out my previous episode, which also goes into some of the psychology behind a good LinkedIn profile photo. My second quick win for your personal brand is to rewrite your LinkedIn profile bio. I personally feel like this is often a really underutilized section of a lot of LinkedIn profiles. This is the place where you can communicate your expertise, the values that you bring to your work, and the impact that you have been able to have in your career. So make sure that you are optimizing your LinkedIn profile. This is also the perfect place to package your professional story. And if you need more tips on how to write a less boring bio for your professional brand, then check out my previous episode on this topic. My next tip is my favorite tip for LinkedIn because it is so simple and so quick and can make such a difference on your LinkedIn profile. And that is to change the default settings in your LinkedIn profile, particularly related to the activity section of your profile. So the activity section of your profile will default to your most recent posts if you haven't updated this already. But you have the option to select different sections of your LinkedIn profile as being your preferred first thing that people see when they come to your homepage, your LinkedIn profile page. So what I recommend is that if you have more engaging content in, say, you create articles or you post videos, or it's your photos that are more engaging, for example, then change the default settings on the activity section of your LinkedIn profile, because this is going to make a huge difference to your profile. What I love about this is, depending on what you have in those other sections, this can instantly add so much life and personality and color to your profile. And if you have created a really consistent brand across, say, articles, for example, this is also going to create really consistent branding for your profile. And that's going to instantly give your LinkedIn profile a really nice makeover. My quick win number 4 for your personal brand is to pick a signature color or a signature color palette. The best leaders understand that communication comes in many forms, and that includes through colors. That is what the best branding does well. We recognize brands because of the colors that they use. It's how we're instantly able to see them in the marketplace and know who that particular brand is. So apply the same thinking to your personal brand. What is the consistent color palette or the signature color that you could have as a part of your personal brand style? Your colors communicate for you because over time, we have been conditioned to understand that certain colors have certain connotations. So if you want to learn more about some of the psychology behind colors and color theories in general, then check out my previous episode on picking the perfect colors for your personal brand. My quick win number 5 is to sport a signature accessory. Now, I think Anne Wintour is just such an obvious example in this space with her signature sunglasses. I know it's not something that a lot of people would apply to their personal brand, but it's just a really easy way to explain this. I think someone that does this really well as well, or a character that does this really well, is Blair Waldorf in Gossip Girl with her signature headband. It's a signature accessory that becomes becomes related to that person's personal brand and their personal style. So when you think about your own personal brand, your personality, your personal style, what is a signature accessory that you can adopt? And this doesn't need to quite literally be an accessory. This could be, for example, a signature article of clothing. So I, for example, remember when I was doing my MBA, I had a professor who always wore these beautiful sort of old world knitted vests. And while I don't think that he was remotely thinking about his personal brand, it still was a really signature look for him. So whatever your own personal style is, just consider embracing what it is about your personal style that you already love, that you could maybe do even more consistently or elevate a little bit more as well. My quick win number 6 is to curate your ideal personal brand using Pinterest. Now, if you follow this channel, you would know that I absolutely love using Pinterest. I feel like this is the place where the everyday person can think like a designer, can think like a creative director, and mood board and plan and be inspired by ideas from other people that are so aesthetically beautiful, usually on a platform like Pinterest, and curate and explore those ideas before you actually put them into action. So if you think about the way that, an architect or a designer would work, is that they start with their mood boarding before they move into actually executing ideas. So this is where I think just starting on Pinterest before you even do anything is such a fun way to play and be inspired and to plan before you actually put those strategies into play. So you can get inspiration, for example, about your personal style, about the colors that you want as a part of your personal brand, about your fonts, even about your vocabulary if you search certain words on your Pinterest profile, as I've talked about in some previous episodes as well, relating to how you can elevate your verbal brand too. Pinterest, even though it is a visual platform, can also be used for other purposes as well beyond just aesthetic photos. This is also a place where you can think really big picture about your personal brand. So not just fonts and colors and personal style, but the lifestyle, for example, that you want to have as a part of your personal brand, because your personal brand can encompass much more than just your professional brand. It's a place where you can explore, for example, the interior style that you might like to have, the hobbies that you might like to have, which I love talking about on this channel as well, or any other interests. It's somewhere that you can really explore that identity a little bit more as well. My quick win number 7 for your personal brand is to download Grammarly. Your personal brand isn't all about the colors that you pick, the fonts that you use, what you wear, or even what you say. Sometimes it is about the things that you don't do. And one of the things that you want to avoid as much as possible is making spelling or grammar mistakes in your communication. And that is because the research shows that from emails to resumes to websites and social media, spelling mistakes and grammar issues can reduce the credibility of the author. I, for one, know that I find it frustrating when people point out spelling errors as though it was something that you did intentionally, because we often put in so much effort to obviously make sure that there are no spelling errors. But what I love about downloading a tool like Grammarly is that it sets you up for success to begin with. So while there might be things that happen here and there, as we are humans and not robots and ChatGPT, it is more likely going to help you catch those things. So I find that with Grammarly, it tends to pick up more things than what just the default programs on your Mac or your Windows programs can do as well. And that's why I find that downloading Grammarly can help to build your credibility in your communication as well. My quick win number 8 for your personal brand is to request testimonials. So this could be for your resume, this could be for your LinkedIn profile, it could be for your website. But by requesting testimonials, you, if you receive them, will be providing social proof. And remember that we are tribal beings. So social proof helps us to reduce some of the perceived risks that pop up when we are looking to work with someone, for example. So, by just taking a couple of minutes to request a testimonial, you can instantly elevate the level of trust that other people will have in your personal brand. My quick win number 9 for your personal brand is to record your achievements. So, I want you to take a few minutes to pull up a blank document on your computer or to just grab a blank piece of paper and sit down and let all your achievements flow to you. So, what are the most significant things that you have done in your career, in your wider professional life, and in your roles? Take the time to quantify as much of those claims as you can. Where can you add numbers to the statements that you have made? Once you do this, you have a solid foundation to then add more substance to something like your LinkedIn profile, your personal brand website, or your resume. You've taken the time to fully understand what your greatest achievements have been, which then leads really nicely into my tip number 10, which is to refresh your resume. Now, with all of those achievements written down, you have that solid foundation to be able to write a standout resume. Now, I know writing a resume can feel like a big project, but if you were to spend a few days on it or a couple days on it, however long it takes you, in the big scheme of your personal brand, this is a very quick win. Your resume is about much more than just a list of the jobs that you have done. It is a pitch for your personal brand. This could be the document that lands you your dream job. And even if you aren't actively looking for a new job, this is still a really important document to have. Number one, sometimes recruiters will come knocking when you least expect it, or you could be offered an opportunity that you didn't see coming, and you want to make sure that you have your resume ready to go. And even if you aren't considering changing jobs at all, it is still an important document because it's often a document that can be requested for other opportunities. I, for example, used my resume to get a scholarship as a part of my MBA program, and also to get a position on a committee. Sometimes it isn't just recruiters that are asking for your resume, so make sure that you have a standout resume ready to go. My tip number 11 is to document, don't create. You don't always need a really slick social media strategy to start to make inroads in your personal brand. What is going to be the most valuable gold standard for your personal brand is to be consistent on social media, to actually show up in the first place. And that is why I love marketing guru Gary Vee's mantra of document, don't create, because it takes all of that pressure off for creating content and just allows you to document what your life is anyway. That is a great way to avoid being like the majority of people on social media who lurk in the shadows and position yourself as a leader on particular platforms. My tip number 12 for a quick win for your personal brand is to sign up to something extra. Now, I know that if you are signing up for, say, a board, a committee, a mentoring program, or say your local Toastmasters, for example, that this is obviously going to take a little bit more effort. But what I want to highlight as a part of the quick win is actually applying. It's not just thinking about it any longer, but actually just putting your hat in the ring, actually submitting that application or submitting your nomination, whatever it is that is going to set that thing in motion. It's breaking down what is potentially a seemingly big goal into just that initial first step. And why I think it's really important to do some of the things that I just mentioned in terms of signing up for something extra is because this allows you to build your personal brand outside of your current 9 to 5. This is something that I talk about a lot on this channel because I think it is the best way to help to reduce any risk that you have in your career. You're not putting all of your eggs into one basket with your current employer. because you never know what is going to happen with your current employer. And as I talk about on this channel as well, you also want to make sure that you are building your personal brand outside of your current title, because that means that your personal brand isn't just your current title and your current job in your current workplace, but it becomes how you are contributing to an industry. It takes a broader perspective than the title that you have been delegated by your current employer. Or even if you work for yourself, the title that you have for your business. It allows you to think bigger picture. Quick win number 13 for your personal brand is to actively seek feedback. A while back when I was still in the corporate world, I remember being part of this leadership group which participated in this development program. And one of the activities that has always stayed with me is when we were asked to actively seek feedback from our peers, so from our colleagues. And I found this to be a really valuable exercise. So I got feedback from members of my own team and also my fellow managers. And I remember that none of the feedback that they provided necessarily came as a surprise, but it was so helpful to hear the way that they framed it and to hear them say it out loud. I took that feedback and really used that going forward as much as possible. And why I think that is so helpful when you are trying to spend time working on your personal brand is because that is how other people perceive your personal brand already. So you can spend all the time in the world trying to be intentional about your personal brand, but you have to have an understanding about how that personal brand is actually perceived by other people. And if you aren't seeking that feedback, then there might potentially be a misalignment there. So you want to make sure that even if you are putting yourself in a vulnerable position, that you welcome that feedback, because it is only going to set you up for success going forward. Quick win number 14 for your personal brand is to intentionally observe others. By that I mean, take some time to actively and consistently follow particular creators in areas that you are interested in. And this might actually come from outside of your professional space as well. And this could still be valuable no matter what it is that they cover. Because by consistently following other people, you will be able to see what it is about their communication or their personal brand that resonates with you or what doesn't resonate with you. So by doing that, you're able to build a better understanding of your own personal brand and what you want to do in your personal brand going forward. So the quick win is to simply subscribe to who those people are. Make sure if they are certain creators who have stood out to you that you are following their YouTube channel, their podcast, their social media, for example, and that you are getting a better understanding of their personal brand. So over time, you can see what works and what doesn't. I, for example, just yesterday was watching a creator who I have from time to time watched before and quite enjoyed. And when I was watching this particular creator, I noticed that they swear actually a lot more than I remember them doing. And while I'm certainly not opposed to swearing, I definitely do a little bit too much of that in my own personal life. For the type of content that they were covering, it just wasn't the vibe that I wanted. And I'm never usually one to feel that way when it comes to swearing. There's plenty of creators that I follow that have that vibe. But what stood out to me was how it made me feel to just notice little things like that and to almost be instantly, in some way, just put off because it wasn't what I wanted from that particular topic, that particular space that they covered. And it made me realize just how much I think I'm on the right direction with not wanting to have that be a part of my own professional brand. And that doesn't mean that that is for everyone. It just means that that person obviously has a certain audience and a certain style that works really, really great for them. But it made me realize what I don't want to do in my own personal brand. So that is what following other people will help you to do. You'll be able to get a better understanding of their vocabulary, of the energy that they use, of the way that they present. And by doing that, you can understand your own preferences as well. My tip number 15 is to say yes to something that you maybe don't want to do. Remember that personal branding is personal. So you can create all of the strategies, spreadsheets, Pinterest boards in the world, but your personal brand will still come down to your relationships more than anything. So try and make sure that you're spending some time off of all of your screens and off of all of your planning and actually building those relationships. And by that, I don't just mean making sure that you're networking and maintaining your professional relationships, but also your personal relationships as well, because they all make you the person that you are today. And even in a professional sense, you never know where those relationships are going to lead. Your friends might introduce you to the perfect person that is going to set your career path in motion in a new direction. So don't underestimate the value of your friends. Don't ignore the potential that they bring to your life, even in just making you the person that you are, or the potential that they have to support your professional ambitions as well. Thanks so much. For more on personal branding, subscribe for more like this, and I'll see you in the next episode.